Governor Newsom vetoed a bill today that would have made tech companies legally liable for harm caused by artificial intelligence models. The bill also would have required tech companies to enable a kill switch for AI technology in the event the systems were misused or went rogue. Newsom says the bill would have applied stringent standards to even the most basic functions so long as a large system deploys it. And the governor says he does not believe that's the best approach. He says, quote, protecting the public from real threats posed by technology. He does not think this was the best path. State Senator Scott Wiener helped write that bill. He is not happy about the veto. He wrote on X, this veto leaves us with the troubling reality that companies aiming to create an extremely powerful technology face no binding restrictions from U.S. policymakers, particularly given Congress's continuing paralysis around regulating the tech industry in any meaningful way. Joining us now is San Jose State University Professor Ahmed Banafa, an expert on artificial intelligence, and we have talked before. And thank you so much, Professor, for doing this for us. Well, it's a controversial decision. What do you think about the governor's veto?
Well, it's not a surprise, to hear that he vetoed this bill. It's been in trouble since the beginning because it was really the version that reached his desk is a light version, a watered-down version of the original one. Even with that reduction on the restrictions there, still the big tech companies, and also you have to know that some of the politicians, famous politicians and high-power politicians like Nancy Pelosi and 11 Democrats is against this. So it was, and the governor himself, he said few things, the past few weeks that indicates that he will not, sign it.
So why is that block of people against it, Professor? What's their main concern? It seems as though some regulation would be good, but what is their concern?
Well, I mean, the bill itself is in its current version is saying that the testing has to be transparent. I mean, we know what kind of testing the companies are using for their AI models. If it's they're going to cost $100 million to train that system, basically the cost of the hardware and of the engineers and so on. The other one is that the whistleblower, there should be a way for the whistleblowers to reach out and talk about it. The kill switch is another one, and also the last one, which is the Attorney General can sue the AI companies for civil damages, not for criminal damages as before. And that's where they look at it as you are really trying to solve a problem that does not exist. This is what the company is saying. We don't want to, slow down the wheel of innovation in California. And I read the letter of the governor, 3 pages letter explaining why he didn't sign it. Sent it back to the Senate. And he said that we don't want to, be in the way of the innovation of California. 32 of the top AI companies in the world of AIs exist actually in California.
And you and I have talked in the past about the fact that Congress really has not done much to regulate. Do they just not know where to start? I mean, why not?
Well, first of all, the Congress is at the federal level is very slow in passing anything, almost anything. So it's going to take a while for them to agree on something. And AI goes, the speed of light. So if they have a regulation for a certain risk of AI now, there is no guarantee that those risks will even exist when the bill is passed through the Congress. That's why states like California took the lead and they say, okay, let's start with something. I don't look this at the end of the line for this bill because this is a starting point. Other states are looking at it and saying maybe we could look at it and copy, and some of the points in this bill to help us, build our own. It's not going to stop. There will be back and forth about it. We might have another bill by, another senator, coming up with it with something that could be acceptable by the big tech company. And there is another point here, Catherine. It's an elections year. So that has an impact also on politics.
Oh, politics and money, always part of it. You make a good point that just trying to stay ahead of this industry would be just about impossible. Even catching up seems to be tough.
That's absolutely right. I mean, we look at the production that we see it all the time coming from OpenAI. Every time they come up with new products, and we have a lot of companies coming up with new products, advances. And now if we try to say, okay, the risk is this way, Now here's more risk going on. And the driving force for this bill from day one is we don't want to go back to the days of the social media where we love it. We want this one to go all the way. We have Section 230 that will protect it, and then we found out that we are dealing with the symptoms of misinformation, bullying, all these kind of things. Also, the fact about we cannot ask the tech companies to police themselves. You're asking them to make less money. That's what you're doing when they police themselves.
I thought just real fast that there was kind of an interesting mix of people in Silicon Valley, both for and against the bill. I think Elon Musk supported it. So was any of that interesting to you?
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk, I don't agree with many of his saying, but I agree with him on this. And also we have Skywalker, he's one of the people from Star Wars, Mark Hamill is also standing with that. We have also the CEO of Anthropic, which is a competition of OpenAI, agree with the bill. So there is some of the famous people, celebrities agree with it. But the politicians, the big companies, the big tech companies, they say, no, we don't need this at this stage.
All right. I know we'll be talking about this again. Sure. So who knows where this is going. But, Professor, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Catherine.